is that the DEP has been working for some time with the city of Newark and the good folks under Karima Dean's leadership to optimize corrosion control treatment in the city of Newark. And we have verified, the DEP that is, has verified that Newark's corrosion control treatment has been optimized to protect residents whose water may come into contact with plumbing that may still contain lead components. Newark has demonstrated compliance with the federal lead and copper rule, demonstrated compliance with all of the requirements. This is very important as we convey to the public that they can have confidence in the water that they receive, because corrosion control is functioning, right? And irrespective of the fact that Newark had engaged in this gargantuan undertaking to replace all lead service lines in a recordly low time period, corrosion control is still necessary in the city of Newark and in cities all across the country where lead service lines have been replaced. And that's because lead components can remain in interior plumbing, for example. There can still be remaining lead. And so corrosion control is a continuing obligation of water systems in these settings. And that corrosion control is in place in the city of Newark. And so for residents that are contacted by, for residents, unless they are contacted by the city to participate in an inspection of their service line, there's nothing that they need to do at this time. The notices that will go out as part of a continuing promise on the part of the city to keep residents informed. So I can't emphasize enough that this is not a cause for panic, right? The DEP and the city of Newark will do their job to ensure that we conduct the audit and make sure that all lead service lines that are to be replaced in full have in fact been replaced in full. And that is a point of a compliance and enforcement investigation by DEP that will remain ongoing. And Mayor, I have to thank you, thank Kareem, thank Eric, your entire team in continuing the tradition that you have established for moving at lightning speed on these issues and protecting the public. So thank you. Mayor, unless you have any closing remarks, we can ask our friends here if they have any questions.
So just want to thank you guys at DEP for all that you guys are doing, and open up to questions. Yes.
Before we start the questions, I did put in the chat a link to some information on our website, sort of an overview of what was just discussed, and some steps that residents can take, for lead safety. With that, do we have any questions? Rye, do you have a question?
Yeah, thank you. Three things. Can you talk about the timeline about when you first heard about the vendor and the potential problems? Also, the mayor, in the transcript of your remarks that I read, you were quoted as referencing some depositions. What is this? These depositions that you're referring to? Is there some sort of case going on?
No, that has absolutely nothing to do with this. That was a reference to previous kind of personnel matter where we had to be deposed based on something that took place at an executive session. That's all. Just me reminding the council that they had to be mindful of what they're saying, because it is public information, though we are in an executive session.
Two more things. Thank you for that, Mayor. Commissioner, you referenced a compliance and enforcement investigation. Can you talk more about that and whether there's also sort of a criminal or fraud component to that? And finally, the third-party vendors, can you give a sense of how many jobs or what percentage of the lead service line replacements this vendor or these vendors have been responsible for? Thank you.
Appreciate those questions, Ryan. Mayor. That's exactly what I understood your point of caution to the council to be in that recording. The timeline here, in January, we became aware of concerns because I am in the midst, meaning me at DEP and our chief enforcement officer and our entire water enforcement team are in the midst of this investigation. I cannot disclose to you the sources of that information. It would be inappropriate for me to do so at this point, but as soon as I can, I will. So that investigation is very much ongoing. And as soon as we became aware of the concerns, we began this audit process with the city, right, to evaluate where the potential for this circumstance could arise and to plan how to verify, right? There's copious amounts of information that was collected in the course of the lead service line replacement program. We need to go back to that source of information to verify where further investigation may be necessary, both as a matter of review of data or as a matter of on-the-ground inspection. So the initial 4 addresses, which we will also not disclose to you to keep residents' information to within their own province, we then evaluated the on-the-ground conditions and found in those settings that there were some remaining lead components, meaning, in layman's terms, it was a partial replacement and not a full replacement, right? And under New Jersey law, as compared to federal law, under New Jersey law, full replacements are required, right? And full replacements is what the city committed to and charged its support, the third party supporting them with accomplishing. And so we will find everywhere where this may have occurred through the course of this audit, which will be undertaken for several weeks to come. And as we're in a position to share more information with the public and with all of you in the fourth estate, we will do so. But because this is an enforcement investigation by DEP, we have to pace ourselves accordingly. And if it is appropriate to make referrals for other legal enforcement, we will do so. But this is from the DEP perspective, a Safe Drinking Water Act and lead service line replacement law compliance and enforcement investigation.
Thank you. Nikita?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, have you said whether these third parties, whether it's a single vendor, whether it's multiple vendors, and then I think Fry asked this, but I don't think I heard an answer. Is there any sense of the amount of units affected by these remaining lead lines?
I'm being cautious here in sharing this with you because of the fact that we are in the midst of this investigation. The short answer to your question would be that we do not know the exact confines yet. Our initial investigation is being undertaken with respect to a small number of properties, right? That whether our investigation suggests that a larger number of properties may have been affected, then we would pursue further investigation in that direction as well. So it is an unknown at this time exactly where these circumstances are present. We are in the midst of evaluating that very information. And then once we have refined that, taking immediate action as the city has to replace those remaining components on the spot.
Gotcha. And then just
anything to add there?
Yeah,
well, is it okay for me? I mean, I would say that I'm comfortable that the overwhelming majority of the lead service lines in the city have been fully replaced.
Michael? You're on mute.
Sorry, I just didn't want to miss the mayor's note there. Couple questions on my end. First, Commissioner, I'm wondering if you can just clarify for posterity's sake why state law differs from federal law with regards to not allowing partial replacement of lead lines.
Because New Jersey has always had the strongest water protection laws in the country, for which we are deeply proud. That was expanded in 2021 when the legislature, through the leadership of Gary Scher in the Assembly, Teresa Ruiz in the Senate, passed a lead service line replacement law that mandates full replacements over the course of 10 years. Right, Mayor? What did Newark do it under 3? Right. So that is what I'm referring to. Under federal law, under the Safe Drinking Water Act, including proposals that are right now pending to be adopted by the federal government, full replacements are still not required in all instances. Right. That's a difference between the feds and us here in New Jersey. Right. Full replacements in New Jersey. That is the law.
Yeah,
Thank
I'm
you for
going to
that.
move on to. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Larry, I just had one more and then I'll let you go.
Sure.
Since the 2021 law went into effect banning the partial replacements, have there been similar issues in other systems around the state? Have you guys had to do similar audits? Have partial replacements been a problem elsewhere?
So I'm not aware of another instance where a full replacement was to have been conducted, but only a partial replacement was conducted. But that is only because our inventorying of the statewide lead, the statewide presence of lead components in water systems is in development. Not all water systems have fully inventoried themselves like Newark has. So there are few, in fact, that have. So that is still a work in progress.
Okay. I'd like to give Matt a shot now.
Yes. So my question is kind of, how did this happen? Were the contractors given proper instructions? Were they, how did this occur?
This occurred because somebody didn't do their job. And you can be assured that the mayor and I will find that somebody and hold them fully accountable. That's the
We
short
didn't say
answer.
contractor. We said third party. So just want to make that clear. That's all.
So it's a third party, but also you're not specifically naming the third party is what I'm hearing.
Right.
At this point?
We can't.
Okay.
It's under active investigation by DEP in the city.
Okay. Any other questions, Matt? Okay.
No,
Nikita?
that's all. Thank you.
Nikita?
Sorry, I
Do you
just
have another-
didn't get to finish one earlier. I just wanted to ask, is the prospect of any sort of fraud charges on the table here, given there's some sort of public contracting involved in these replacements?
If there is, we will make the appropriate referral.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay. Michael, did you have another question?
I do if no one else does.
I think you're good.
Okay. If we could just, again, for posterity's sake, get an up-to-date count on what the status of replacement work is in Newark. Mayor, I think you said, is the city completely done at this point?
Yeah, well, we were completely done. To say that now makes that statement not true based on what we just saw. Not completely done. We have changed about 23,000 or so lead service lines in the city. We have identified 3 out of the 23,000 so far that have not been fully replaced, meaning there's some components of lead left in the ground that we took out. We took them out and replaced them. So right now, based on what we think, we've replaced the 3 that were problematic. We don't know until we go out and do this inspection to see if there are any other ones like the 3 we just identified. And that's really what's happening here. We saw 3, we changed them. We want to make sure there are no other ones in the sphere that we know about, and replace those if necessary. If it's not necessary, great. And so we're going to be out there looking. And I just want to reiterate what I said. I am confident that the folks who did the work did it correctly, most of them. And I'm confident in that, and confident that our corrosion control is still working. As the commissioner said, we've passed 8 testing periods in the city, and our testing requirements were actually just lowered because we've passed 8 consecutive times in the city. So since 2020.
Larry, I had 2 more questions, if I may.
Sure.
First is, Commissioner, I think you said that this audit could take several weeks. Is that the timeline we're working with, and will the results be made public afterwards?
I think the mayor made pretty clear at the top that the commitment to the community to provide public information and to the community first answers that question. We will absolutely make sure, as we get further down our task here, that information is routinely shared with the public, and that when the investigation is complete, anything we can't say now, we do say later.
Got it. And finally, I noticed in Drinking Water Watch that the city on January 11th was issued a lead consumer notice violation for the first half of 2023. Is that related to the situation? If not, what is it related to?
Kareem, I don't know what that is. Kareem, are you on?
No. I think we got to be careful when Drinking Water Watch says violations. Sometimes those are very sort of technical, meaning that there are a litany of different types of public information and education materials that have to be sent by certain dates. If that date is either entered wrong or you're a day late, it's going to populate a violation. The important thing to understand is that our water quality monitoring parameters in the city of Newark have been optimized. Our corrosion control is optimized, right? There is continuing confidence in the water in the city of Newark. Where I sat down to lunch this afternoon and declined the bottled water.
Ryan, I see you have your hand up.
Yeah, thank you. 2 questions again. On the letters that were going to go out, was that to everybody in the city or a smaller?
They are going out, not were, but they are going out still on track. It was going to go to all of the ratepayers, so maybe 180,000 households, something like that. So that will probably cover, as all of the folks in the town.
And
in multiple languages to ensure that the city that the city's communicating with everyone. That's what the mayor had ordered.
The reason that I went to the council. In fact, if you heard the whole message, I told the council we're sending it to everyone because everyone needs to know, even though everyone is not affected by this, everyone needs to know what's going on. And because we can't divulge specific information, we need to make sure that we let everybody know what's happening anyway.
And then the second thing is, Mayor, you made a distinction between a third party and a contractor. I wasn't around when this began. Can you help me understand how this worked, how the replacement worked, who did the work?
We're just saying we're saying third party because there's an investigation happening, and we don't want to lay blame anywhere where we are premature in doing so. Right. So we want to say third party at this point because it's safer for us to say third party at this point. Right. When we get more information or allowed to say more information, as the commissioner said, we will do that and say exactly who it is. Trust me, I can't wait to tell you exactly what's going on and exactly who these people are. We just can't do that at this juncture.
Okay. Commissioner or Mayor, do you have any closing remarks? I'm sorry, are there any other questions before we wrap up? Okay. Commissioner or Mayor, do you have any closing remarks you would like to make?
I just want to thank you guys and thank the press for getting on at the last minute. Of course, you know, I wish we wouldn't had to do it this way. I would have much liked the residents to get it first and have a press conference formal afterwards. You know, because of the events that took place, we had to do it this way to deal with any misinformation that may be put out there. And prayerfully, we do the right thing and put the information out the way it needs to be put out. And I thank you for cooperating with us at this point. We appreciate it deeply.
And Commissioner?
I'll again thank the mayor and Kareem and Eric and the entire team at Newark for not just being attentive, but being incredibly proactive in this respect. You know, we together in the state of New Jersey accomplished an incredible amount in delivering safe water to residents, right? And there's a fine example of that in what Mayor Baraka has accomplished. Nothing about this audit in any way undermines that accomplishment, nor should it undermine the public trust and confidence in the water in the city of Newark, because this has been belt and suspenders as it should be, and the residents can have confidence in the safety of their water in the city of Newark. Period. Full stop.
Thank you very much for everyone for joining us on this afternoon. I really appreciate it, and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you all.
Thank you.